was my best player on defense. Him or Anthony Harris didn't even look that bad. Who the hell is 67, by the way?
I don't know who that is, but he actually played pretty well.
hard.
Played
He
hard.
looked good. Like, it wasn't even just a jag. Like, he looked like he wanted to be there.
I never heard of that guy before. I'd play him more. Him and I think 51 had a pretty good game too. Hercules.
Yeah, Hercules is a weirdo. Hercules, have you seen him on Twitter?
No.
He's
kind of a clown.
He is kind of a clown. I don't like talking about him like that, but
I didn't even know he was. Dude, how about Troy Dye play without gloves on? It is the weirdest thing.
Troy Dye looks like a long snapper.
Yeah, like
That's
a long snapper. It's the weirdest thing.
He needs to get some.
I feel like weird to see people play. I feel like it's like a playing do thing in the rain, but what the fuck?
So, no, somebody needs to get Troy Dye some
gloves.
I mean, that was embarrassing. Yeah,
that wasn't good.
Everybody in the chat's just saying another Vikings game, another heart attack. Yep, that's the truth, man. You guys are gonna get used to it. We already got 10 people in here. How's everybody doing? Live post game show after another heart attack delivered by Mike Zimmer and Kirk Cousins. I really don't even know where to begin. I say we just get the negative out of the way. Let's start with Dan Bailey. You know what? Cody Follin says, Dan. Yeah, I saw the name of the chat from you, Cody. Yeah, let's start with Dan Bailey. All right. Over under 6.5 beers for Bailey last night. What do you guys think?
Over.
He looked hammered.
Yeah, he was breaking COVID protocol. He's out there drinking.
By 5 a.m. maybe.
I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah. He was definitely breaking protocol last night. We're going to see Bailey on that.
Don't be surprised you see a fine coming his way.
All right. Seriously. What the hell just happened? Did we just lose it on YouTube? Hold on.
Still showing live on YouTube for me.
Yeah, it's still showing live for me.
All right, yeah, we're good. That was bad. All right, well, in the chat, we'll just start off with the chat. Jaden Barry says, how do you feel about just Shamar Stephen and Jaleel Johnson? I've never been big fans of them. For me personally, I feel like I'm in the same boat as you. Never been big fans, but you know what? They have one big fan, and that's Mike Zimmer. I mean, Mike and Jim, you guys know more about Stephen and Jaleel. I feel you guys talk about them way more than I do, so you guys go.
Yeah. Jaleel Johnson, I think he was drafted in 2017. He's probably not going to be on the team next year, I'm assuming. Nope. He gets there was one play, like Jacksonville running back's pretty good running back. But there's one play where he just ran up the middle. He trucked Jaleel Johnson. He just ran him over. And Shamar Stephen, the guy actually this year I think is a good PFF grade. But I mean, I gotta see someone let me know what he does well. Yeah. I don't know. Go ahead.
I mean, same.
It's the same for me. I mean, they just kind of I feel like they just never get interior push, always getting pushed back. They're better off playing the guys they had out there, 67, never heard of them. Hercules, get him some more time.
What's his name? What is 67 on the Vikings name?
It was Brailford or something like that. Brailford, maybe, or something. But I know Wonham was hurt, but he should play more when he's healthy. But man, I just don't it's just they're playing patty cake. It's easy 4 or 5 yards at a time. He doesn't get touched.
Oh,
when those two guys are in the game, it's bad.
Yeah. So Jordan Brailford, just so everybody knows, Jordan Brailford, 25 years old from Oklahoma State. He was one of Spielman's 7th rounders last year. So you know what, Spielman
the 7th round magic.
That. Yeah. Spielman was probably loving that. Watching
Spielman loving that.
Here's another question for the chat. From Kevin Stern, what happened to Rudy? He only had 2 targets. Yeah, me and my dad, when we were watching the game, we're just I mean, where the hell is Rudy? I mean, I get Jefferson and Thielen are your go-tos, but it's not like Rudy has a 6'6" frame, and then you try to throw it to him in overtime for a tough contested catch, which I thought he should have caught, but then again, he's not warmed up the entire game. I really don't know. I really don't know why Kubiak refuses to use tight ends more. I mean, I feel like it would be, instead of just going to Thielen and Jefferson every time, I don't know. I really don't know what happened to Rudy today. Maybe I would assume Jacksonville is not trying to take him away. I don't think Rudy would be a point of emphasis during the week, but I really have no idea for that. 2 targets.
It was one of those games where you kind of looked and Cousins was not very comfortable back there, to say it nicely at times. Now, I mean, he just wasn't very comfortable back there. Now, that's also the offensive line. I was actually pretty happy with them coming out of that Bears game. Not good these last 3 games. Not very good. I mean, even I thought Brian O'Neill played bad today.
He was awful.
I usually haven't said that about him very much, but
that's
Dozier, I mean, he's Dakota Dozier. So
Bradbury was on his ass every other play.
They're getting pushed back, and then that's the one thing. Like Cousins last week did such a nice job. He was escaping pressure a lot last week, getting the ball out.
Yep.
Not today. Now, today was it was just a struggle to do anything against a defense that is, I think, on pace to be one of the worst defenses in NFL history.
Yep.
In that fourth quarter, that was to not end that game was just so bad.
Yeah, what a story that would have been though. The kicker Chase McLaughlin, he was on our Vikings practice squad the whole year. I mean, how ironic would that have been if he's the reason we don't make the playoffs because he hits a 62-yarder to win it?
Why on that play? Yeah. Why is no one back there? Like
the announcer pointed it out. It's just little things. It's very frustrating watching this team right now.
Like, oh my god,
and, that defensive call there too at the end at the fourth quarter. He's going like 3 deep, like a prevent.
Oh yeah,
when they're at the 40-yard line. Like, I mean, you let him get 20 free yards. I mean, it was that easy. Like, I'm like, I don't understand. Sometimes it just mind boggles some of their play calling at times. It's like stupid. It's like Zimmer. I don't know. Zimmer sometimes it's frustrating. Yeah. He's frustrating as a coach.
Yeah, well, here we will throw in some positive. Skull in the chat says congrats to Justin for over 1,000 yards. He's incredible. I mean, listen, I love Thielen, but if they run another fade route to Thielen instead of Jefferson, I'm gonna be like, I swear to God, they run fade routes. It should be to him every single time. I mean, he's great. I mean, there's not much more I could say about him. I mean, he's the complete receiver right now. I mean, he does not look like a rookie. Here, another question on him. How do you guys feel about Justin Jefferson if given more targets, man? He's just scary against DBs. I mean, I would get him more targets. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I assume the same.
He's open a lot. You got to get him as many targets as possible. Like, I mean, you could throw those back shoulder throws to him all the time. I mean, he's really good. And I feel like, I mean, he got a lot of targets today, which is good, but there's some more time. I think he got to get him some more deep shots too.
Yeah.
They don't throw enough to him. They threw a couple today, but yeah, I mead he's open a lot. They gotta, he's just really good. I mean, that was obviously they hit on that pick. Eagles got to be pretty frustrated though. Yeah. They had Jalen Reagor.
Well, apparently there's beef in the Eagles organization right now. Apparently Peterson loved them, and
really
he didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, Jefferson. He pushed off a little bit at the end, but I mean, there are a lot of refs in this league that probably wouldn't have called that. Like, it wasn't like a full-fledged push at the end there. It probably just kind of the way that since the defensive back was going that way, when they saw his arm extend, they saw the defensive back kind of just flail up like so. But I mean, yeah, he's special. I just wish that the Vikings seem so intent on kind of like. This has got to be like a Zimmer mentality, like, hitting your head against the brick wall in the first quarter of games where they feel like they got to like establish Cook. But, let's go to Jefferson and Thielen early. Like, I mean, they didn't get a deep shot to Jefferson until the third quarter. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, he's so good.
He's incredible.
Yeah. And for the Vikings to get him at 22 is, even more incredible.
Yeah. In the chat, Kevin Stern says that push off wasn't as bad as Rudy's against the Saints last year. Honestly,
it really wasn't.
I mean,
it was a slight nudge.
Yeah, it was just a little, I mean,
but it was obvious. But
yeah,
it wasn't crazy.
Yeah, Drew says glad to get a Vikings win makes Mondays a whole lot better. You know what? That's true. I mean, I mean, yeah. I mean, as long as we're winning, who cares? I mean, even though it looks bad, I mean, now we got Tampa Bay next week, so they could really put us in our place. But Jarrell said, and this is actually I want to segue to this, pass rush, we need that back next season. Listen, if Brady's going to have a clean pocket next week, Cousins better go in there expecting to put up 40 points if we want a chance of winning. Because they will not have a chance with their DBs staying one-on-one, like whatever it may be on those receivers and tight ends. I mean, Eifert killed us today. Gronk's going to – I mean, the Buccaneers are going to try to have a day. And they've shown that. Even though they struggled against good teams, they've shown that they will beat the crap out of bad teams. That's something – no pass rush is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I would – so whatever's going on with Eric Kendricks, I know he had a calf injury on Thursday and Friday, and obviously, a minute before kickoff, he hurt it. And
he was doing
I don't know if it's a case of like, he was pretty mobile on the sideline. Like if anyone watched him, like he was up. It wasn't like he was just sitting down the whole game. But like, I don't know if it's a case of like we're playing Jacksonville, like we got to make sure he's ready to go for the next 4 games, or I mean, something must have scared them where they, obviously want to be very precautionary. So if they don't have Kendricks, their tight end coverage, oh boy. And here's the thing. I don't know, again, I don't know, what Mike Zimmer's game plan is going into a game. But I don't know why it takes him so long to get after Glennon. Like Jacksonville's a 1-10 team. Like
statue.
They're probably not very good at picking up blitzes.
No.
And they wait till like the 3rd, 4th quarter again. Like, I mean, Jacksonville was about to go up 12-0 or 12-0 or 16-0 before Dantzler made that nice pick. Yep. Like, I mean, why let them get comfortable? Like, to start the game, like, that's going to be the big thing next week is Brady's usually very good against the blitz. So if the Vikings can't get any pressure with their front 4, which is probably going to happen, I don't know. Is Zimmer just going to – it might be one of those games where – the Vikings got to let Tampa drive and, hope they kick field goals and hope they make mistakes and commit turnovers. The Vikings offense can't punt 7 times like they did today.
Well, also, offense the past 3 weeks, they've given up 21 points.
Yeah.
We can't have that against – I mean, it's almost good we got it out of our system because if that happens once against Tampa Bay, we're losing. If we give up 1 pick six or 1 whatever – I mean, we're going to lose that game. 2 people from the chat that people are calling out is first, I'll start off with Anthony Harris. I actually thought Anthony Harris wasn't bad today either. I thought he played, not bad. Listen, I feel like last year I was talking about this before the game. He was a very opportunistic guy. But Anthony Harris had his moments today. He had that huge 3rd down block in overtime when Glennon threw a really good ball on the out route to the tight end. I think it was Eifert. That was a good play, but I thought Anthony Harris stepped up. And then another guy they're talking about is Cameron Dantzler. I see why they drafted him now. I mean, what did you guys see from Dantzler and Ant today?
Yeah, he had a pretty good game overall. That 2-point conversion play, he was out of position though, which was kind of got out. But I mean, overall, he had a pick, the fumble recovery. He was right on Shark there all day. I think maybe he had a couple catches only. So, I mean, it was good. I mean, that's good to see. I think he is improving, which I guess is a good thing. So, I mean, I like, his length is huge. Just being able to play those big receivers overall. I think he's got to put on a little weight. He's definitely skinny. Got to get on the weight room this offseason. But I mean, yeah, I mean, that's huge for a cornerback. You're gonna get a guy that can, force turnovers or create turnovers. That's huge. It was good to see.
Yeah, I think Dantzler and Gladney have started to play better here in the second half of the season, which has been good. Hopefully Gladney's not hurt. Now that they have, I don't think they're getting. Not that it probably matters. Holton Hill probably isn't coming back, and he kind of stinks anyway, or he was bad this year. Mike Hughes is a question mark, so they're going to need those 2 guys healthy the rest of the way because Chris Boyd, he had a tough game out there today, and
Oh my God.
It's so funny. I almost feel bad for him because I see he's trying very hard on special teams, but he's just making so many mistakes. And so, they're going to need Dantzler and Gladney. They'll get a real good test next week. Evans, Godwin, Antonio Brown. You can go down the list of guys who are going to be ready to go. And, Tampa's coming off a bye, this week. So, and they obviously know they have to win.
Here, let me ask you guys this. What do you guys think the line is for next week? Because it already came out. I'm just curious.
Tampa 4 or 5 points.
I think it's 6 or 7.
Yeah, it was 6. I thought I thought it was gonna be way higher than that. I thought it was gonna be like 9.5.
Yeah,
it's Tampa Bay coming off a bye.
Coming off a bye,
if the Vikings cover, that's a close game. So and the Vikings haven't covered in 3 weeks.
Could be a good opportunity to play the Bucks on the money line there, or just even the spread. I mean, cover. I mean, it's kind of a weird spread, but yeah.
I don't know. Cardinals Rams going on right now for the Vikings. We're obviously hoping for the Rams. If the Rams pull that out, the Vikings are if the playoffs would have ended, they would have been in the playoffs, which is that is pretty incredible.
It's crazy.
They're
1-5.
Yeah, I mean they were 1-5. The Bears today. I mean, we can talk about that. Some NFC North. I mean, what a meltdown that was. Matt Nagy and Trubisky, they should both be gone tomorrow, especially Nagy. Like, oh my God. I mean, that was Packers just had a 4th down touchdown at the goal line. That's unfortunate. But I mean, one thing from the chat, Kevin Stern. How about CJ Ham getting that touchdown? That was incredible for me. CJ Ham's probably one of my favorite Vikings, and I like him using them like that. That's what I'm saying. Go from your whole offense is 3 players: Jefferson, Thielen, and Cook. Go somewhere else. Like I love that play call.
I liked last week they called the toss to him, the fullback toss. That's my favorite play. They pulled that one out of the Zimmer 1960 Zimmer Kubiak Don Capers.
He deserved that touchdown. He's been a good blocker.
Well, and then I think it was one of YouTube. You guys said get Jefferson going in the pitch game. I mean, they went to it in the first quarter. I don't know when they went to it, but it didn't work out. But I like them trying out new stuff to get other guys the damn football or get them in different ways. I mean, I don't know. I thought Thielen looked okay today. I mean, he looked like he couldn't really get a bunch of all of his catches seemed really challenging. It looks like he wasn't really coming open as he normally did. But yeah, Lions. Who's their head coach? The old Vikings OC.
Darrell Bevel.
Yeah, Bevel's 1-0. Good for him.
Always.
That's incredible. But Vikings. Mainly, I also wanted to get you guys' opinions on Dakota Dozier. With Brett Jones playing not bad over the last 2 weeks, what do you guys think at that decision at left guard? Do you guys think there's a decision to be made? Like it's tough, or do you want to just keep the same group? Because I love continuity on the offensive line, but Dozier I think has had a false start in every game this year.
Yeah, it was a big false start at the end there. I mean,
was that on him who dropped off?
Yeah,
he had
third and goal.
He had 2 today. I think he had 2
third and goal at the 1 yard. That just can't happen. But I mean, I don't know. Brett Jones, he's I don't know. I don't know a lot I think he's a good backup, but he's small. I mean, Dozier, like he's been I think he's regressed a little bit here the past few weeks. I thought he was starting to play well, especially in the run game. A couple weeks ago, that Bears game before that also. I don't know. I mean, he's a young guy. I mean, I think you just roll with him. You're better off just rolling with these guys now and just keep playing them. I don't know how much Brett Jones will make a huge difference there.
Yeah, I think I'm guessing they're going to stick with them. I wouldn't be completely surprised if they made the move. So basically what I've been told is, or not what I've been told, what I've seen
sources?
is I don't have sources. I've seen that they like, Brett Jones isn't great in their run blocking. Now, again, I mean, was the run blocking that great today? And Cook had another 32 carries.
That's also something we need to get into.
But I mean, maybe if they think Jones can hold up in pass protection better because they've had to throw the ball more, I don't think that's changing. I mean, I have to check the stats, but Obviously the next couple of games, next 3 games, the Bucks, Bears, Saints, the Bucks defense, I'm pretty sure they're the best run defense in football.
They are.
Obviously the Bears defense has gone through, I don't know what's going on with them.
I'm hoping they just quit.
Yeah. And then the Saints defense, I'm pretty
really
sure
good.
if I looked right, I don't know. I think they might have given up one today, but they've given up like 2 offensive touchdowns. Now, I know they played that weird game last week against Denver, but I'm pretty sure they've given up like 2 or 3 offensive touchdowns in the last 5 games.
Jesus.
So they are playing extremely well. So the Vikings are going to have to continue to throw the ball, which shouldn't be that bad of a thing when you got Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. So we'll see. If they do make a move, that'll be it. If they think that Jones can handle pass protection better.
If you're doing a long shot preview of the Buccaneers game, I mean, like you said, they're number 1 against the run, like they're number 1 defense against the run. And also their secondary is very young and they're not that good. Like the Buccaneers secondary, that's where you beat them. I mean, the amount of 50-50 balls you got to give up to Jefferson and Thielen, you got to come out there, be aggressive, and then the pass should set up the run next week. I mean, I feel like that's definitely how it's going to be. I mean, you look at especially if you get the 3rd and long, the Buccaneers pass rush, they blitz all the time. They blitz Todd Bowles blitz more than any other D coordinator in the league. I definitely think next week it's got to be the weapons on the outside.
Yeah, definitely. That's it.
Yeah, for
sure. That's what the game's going to come down to.
I mean, Jefferson especially. I mean, if he wants to win Rookie of the Year, I mean, you got these big-time moments in big-time games. That could be him. I mean, that could be like a big moment for him. If he goes and has another great game in a big kind of spot, or I guess it's at 1 o'clock, but it's still going to be a big game. But Dalvin Cook, eye test for me, he looks a little banged up. Yeah. I think it's just, how you wake up the next morning, if you just lifted or something, you're a little sore, or like if you've been through a long season, like you get it looks like his body, he just doesn't have that same like explosiveness as we've seen as him coming out of the bye or as him to start the season. That's a little concerning to me. I don't think he should practice this week. I really don't. I mean, I would not be surprised if he's limited at practices. I don't know. How do you guys feel about I know Cook gets upset when you ask him. I mean, the whole Derrick Henry thing, but it's definitely real. It's definitely real with Cook. I don't even think it's injury prone anymore we should be talking about. I think it's just like Derrick Henry gets better in December. Yeah. I think Cook could be kind of, he looks like he kind of be taking a step back. So that's why, again, throw the ball next week.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it and you can just tell he's like, he doesn't want to take hits. He's going down easier. Like that play in overtime where he just kind of sat down like a quarterback. It's like, you can't be doing that as a running back. I mean, that's just not good. I mean, they have to, I just don't understand why, this whole year they haven't really used Madison at all. I mean, he was proven last year to be a good back, a good complimentary guy to just Cook to just spell him sometimes. I mean, I read that I think he's on a pace to get over 320 touches this year, which is like, that's like Christian McCaffrey level of touches, but also it's a lot more runs. Like McCaffrey was catching balls out of the backfield with that, and maybe able to go out of bounds sometimes. But I mean, he's taking on a lot of hits. They can't rush him 30 times a game like this anymore. I mean, he's not going to withstand that. You can already tell it's starting to wear on him. They got to maybe limit to 15 to 20 carries. Yeah, maybe put him in the pass game a little more, like that play today where they, got him on that little sweep play, the little pass play, they got him out in space, stuff like that, just
how many rushes do you have today? You said 31, 30?
32, which is
so 6 catches.
Yeah, I mean, since the bye, he went 30 carries, 22 carries, 30 carries, 27 carries, and 18 last week, and then obviously 30. So that's 3 games since the bye of 30-plus carries, and then 1 at 27. I mean, he's human. He's not like also a bruiser like Derrick Henry, where Derrick Henry, it's almost like you want him to get more carries because the defense is just not going to want to it's not. They're not going to want to touch him. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, Jim, what do you? Is there any way the Vikings could? Because really, I don't think there's a right answer. It's not like you. Are you going to put him on a pitch count?
Well, I mean,
I don't know. It's really tough.
I think just spell him some drives once in a while. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. Get him a breather once in a while.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is on this has got to be Zimmer and Kubiak here. I know Zimmer's opinion. It's run him till he's
Yeah. Zimmer's
done.
We're not
done.
Drags. Jesus.
But
for year one.
I think what I'd be most frustrated with is you understand that they were coming out of the bye in the Green Bay game, so they ran him a ton, which is fine. They were one. They ran him a ton in the Detroit game. I mean, I think he didn't have a ton of carries in the Detroit game. They had like 22, 23 touches. Then it started in the Chicago game, which we all knew was going to happen. The Chicago, the Dallas, the Carolina, and the Jacksonville game. There have been opportunities to get, obviously not today with Madison, but to get Alexander Madison more touches, to throw the ball more on early downs, and to get, other guys, like be a little creative in your running game. Like today they ran a reverse to Justin Jefferson and only got a yard, but that's a good step. Some jet sweeps to Thielen and Jefferson, stuff like that.
It also keeps the defense honest.
Yeah. We want Cook to get 20, 25 touches a game. That's fine. But look, these next 4 games, he's starting to look like he did it against San Francisco last year. That's what we're starting to get to. And like Mike said, I think the biggest thing is you could tell like when he's about to get hit, like he's bracing for it. Like he's just not, running through it. So,
he's not going forward a lot of the time.
I'm not blaming the guy. Like I ain't taking a hit. I ain't taking a hit in an NFL game. But like obviously, the Vikings need him to be in tip-top shape here as we go to the final stretch. So that's but they kind of dug their grave with this. He's already there's no more buys. There's 4 games in 4 weeks. Like they're gonna have to play him. Like
you can't. And it's not like the games they have. The Lions and Bears will be favored in both, but we'll be dogs against the Saints and Buccaneers easily. But the thing that frustrates me about Cook's count, I feel like the past 3 games during the week when I'm like looking at like where the Vikings, like where they could go right, it would be getting Cook out of the game at halftime. But the thing is, the Vikings, they don't blow teams out. They had 3 home games against 3 very mediocre to awful teams. You don't blow any of them out. That's where Madison could have really had and it's not – see, the thing that frustrates me too, Kevin Stern in the chat said, I'm surprised we didn't see some Boone today. He had, 1 carry? You can't give Boone 5. Like, you can't just say, Cook, just chill out. Like, we have Mike Boone. Like, it's not like he's he's not good, but he's not, like, terrible. And then, like, I don't know. Kevin Stern says, I don't think they trust Madison after he didn't get the 4th and 1. You know what?
That's ludicrous.
You know what?
It was one
Zimmer. No one Zimmer though. I can see him.
I can see it, and you're not wrong. He get in the doghouse easy with Zimmer, but still, you see all these other NFL teams.
I hope not. That's the case.
I hope not. I think he's a good back. He can. I always thought he was good. Last year as a rookie, he was impressive.
Now he's hurt.
Now he's hurt.
Now he had to get his appendix removed. So
2 weeks, right? He's out.
He won't even be there next week either.
Like that's probably going to be out next week, and maybe against Chicago. Who knows? Like I think it's like a 1 to 3 week injury. So he's probably definitely out next week. So, look, like I said, I when I watched the game where I started thinking about the Vikings Tampa Bay game was the Rams Bucks game. I would like the Vikings Rams. Obviously McVay is better offensive play caller than
McVay's
the Vikings have. Not that Kubiak's a bad play caller, but like the Rams just, and so do the Chiefs. And you remember the Chiefs have Mahomes. So, but the Rams just took the running game and said, "Screw it, no, we're not going to."
Yeah, I remember that first half.
Yeah, we're going to get the ball to Robert Woods, to Cooper Kupp, to their tight ends, that receiver that I'm not.
Because they have a lot of weapons like us. They have weapons.
Like. In the Bucks, it's just like when the Vikings played the Bears. Like the Vikings we're insistent on pushing their head against running at Akeem Hicks, which is a dumb move. Yeah, when all they had to do was just keep throwing the Thielen, Jefferson over the middle, Rudolph over the middle, stuff like that. Well, that's what the Vikings have to do to win.
Today, I don't know if I remember when they threw that little quick throw to Thielen. They've done it like 3 times. Why not do that more if teams are off like that? The Packers do that 8 times a game. I mean, like, do that because that's also a running game. It's a low-risk pass. Go get 4 yards. Like, if you want to give Cook a break, there's ways to. Listen, I'm going to be very frustrated with Kubiak if they go in there next week and they try to run the ball down their throat and they get stopped every single time because the Vikings, their offensive line is also pretty tired. I can see it too. I feel like this team, this is the problem when you start 1-5 is that, you're going to get tired because you're going to need to rip off. I mean, you know what's crazy? The Vikings are 5-1 in their last 6. Yeah. And I'm not that if you would have told me when we were 1-5, we'll be 6-6 at this point, I would have been like, oh shit, I'll take that. But it's weird.
All right, I'm not gonna name names on Twitter, but this tweet is ridiculous. Someone's saying they don't care that it was close against Jacksonville, only care about wins and losses. Obviously, yeah. Here's the thing.
That is such a cop-out.
It's there have been all right. They've played 3 home games against bad teams.
Yep.
How many turnovers have they had against Dallas, Carolina, and Jacksonville, all with bad defenses? They turned it over twice today. They've given up 3 defensive touchdowns. They've missed how many kicks? They can't cover. They can't cover a punt. It's not about yes, obviously we're all happy that the Vikings won, but I mean, we want to see the Vikings play well. They played well at Green Bay. They played well against Detroit, even though they got 2 punts blocked.
No, they play sloppy though.
They're a sloppy
football team.
So it's very hard to be super excited when they're going into Tampa. And don't get me wrong, I'm excited for the game. It's nice that the game means a ton.
It does mean a ton. The Vikings win, they're in the playoffs, and the Buccaneers aren't. Just so everybody knows. If you give up a defensive touchdown to Tampa, you're losing. That's you're 100%,
losing.
100%.
You're not winning. So I don't know. It's just hard for me to think that way when I do give Zimmer credit. They were 1-5, and now they've won 5 of 6, and obviously he does not have a ton to work with on defense. But still, for an offense that has a quarterback that makes a ton of money, who's probably a top 15 quarterback with 2 good receivers, maybe the best running back in the NFL, and they're turning the ball over 8 times against the last 3 teams we've played. That's not a well-coached team.
No.
It just isn't. I don't know how else to say it better than that, but I mean, I don't know. Mike, do you disagree?
No, not at all. I mean, how many times do they not come out ready to play either? In these type of games, just not ready to play at all. There's no fire, no emotion, just passive. It takes them forever to get going. It's just, I mean, I don't know why Zimmer gets a pass on that. It happens all the time under him. Just coming out against terrible teams, just flat. Nothing, offense is going 3 and out, the other teams running all over them. It's unacceptable. I mean, it's nice. Like you said, they're 6-6. They got a chance. They should be 7-5. They should have never lost to the Cowboys. That was just flat out terrible losing that game. Honestly, if they had if it was a good coached, well-coached team, you had a clutch quarterback, they could easily have 9 wins right now. Just looking at their, Madison makes that. They could have 9 wins, which is crazy to think about.
That clutch quarterback has 2 game-winning drives the last 2 weeks, Mike.
Against below 500 teams. Relax.
No. Listen to this, Mike. Kirk Cousins had a game-winning drive against Seattle, a game-winning drive against Tennessee, a game-winning drive against Dallas, and it's the defense that gives it up over and over again. I think Kirk. I am full on the Kirk bandwagon right now. 26 touchdowns, 12 picks.
I was going to say something.
What he's doing with this?
It's the under 2-minute drives talking about. I think a stat that's what I more meant. I think they've had one. I think before last week they had 1 game-winning drive in the last 3 years under 2 minutes, which is just that's crazy. And this year they had I think they had I don't know. There was 3 drives. They had barely gained any yards. I think it was 25 yards in under 2 minutes. I mean, you're paying a guy $30 million.
Well, it's also the start of overtime. They get in the 3rd and 30.
Yeah. And he's taking that sack. I mean, there's other times where he just kind of he's got to understand sometimes where he takes this just throw to a spot. There's a guy open, he sees that first guy. I mean, on that sack though, Jefferson was wide open in the middle. If he just throws to a spot, I mean, he could have a big game. I mean, I know the offense line didn't do a lot. I'm just saying like the under 2 minute stuff can be bad. I mean, last was a good sign. They actually it was a good drive.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I agree with that. I think I don't even think it's just Cousins in the under 2 minutes. I mean, who was it? It was it was, and then plus it was also like, I mean, can Kubiak control Bradbury throwing the ball over Cousins' head against Tennessee, or Jefferson dropping his only like blatant drop? I mean, it's been weird things like that where they just look like rattled. I don't know.
I was just gonna say, like, did you add up all the mistakes like against Tennessee, like that last? The one thing I will say though at the end of this year is whether you think we should have won the Tennessee and Seattle games. Well, it just got evened out the past 2 weeks.
Yeah,
because you could have you probably should have lost the last when you probably should have lost the last 2 weeks. If they don't make the playoffs, they have no one but themselves to blame with the Dallas game. That again was just abomination to come out. And it's what Mike said. What happened on the first drive? A free blitzer. Cousins, got hit in the helmet. Bill Vinovich was the ref that game, and he stinks. I hope he watches our post-game show. Bill Vinovich is a terrible referee, and his crew stinks. But they get strip sacked on the first drive. Dallas leads 6-0, and then they cook fumbles. 9 points given up to a bad team, and there you go. Now now you have to play from behind, and you're in a dogfight. And what happens is even today the defense plays pretty well today, even though I hate saying that because the way they started, looking like they just know what they're doing.
Defense past 2 weeks, though, not bad.
No, exactly.
Not bad.
But the thing is, when you're in a late game, like in a close game, what happens? Last week, they're up 28-27. Bridgewater throws some Hail Mary up the middle, and for some reason, Harrison Smith takes out his own guy. This week, they're up 24-16. They let Mike Glennon just march down the field and tie the game. You cannot put yourself in situations.
You know what? That's a good point. How many game-winning drives or just touchdown tying drives or game-winning do you think that defense has given up this year? Seattle, Tennessee
with a field goal drive.
Tennessee, Dallas.
I mean, and then today, could
have been,
technically last week. Technically, if the Carolina kicker hits a kick,
that is true.
That's another one. You can't, this defense, that's why when it's 21-16, they get a safety, and the Vikings start playing punt start playing the punt game. You can't leave it up to your defense.
7 punts today? One of you said?
Too many punts.
6 or 7.
6 or 7 punts against the Jaguars.
At least 4 in the first half, which is just
fourth quarter too was brutal. Not being able to get put that game away. 3 separate drives.
Listen, I've been a Zimmer supporter this entire year, as everybody knows. I think what he's doing with very limited weapons on defense is, I don't think it's as bad. I don't think it's much on him. However, look at our home games this year. Let's just say hypothetically we would have lost today, which could have happened. We'd have lost the Falcons, Cowboys, and Jaguars all at home. That, I don't know. That's just kind of unexcusable. You have 3 home games. These were the 3 most intense games of the year, and it was the Cowboys, Panthers, and Jags at home. We all thought this would be the 3 easiest games of the year, and now you got to go to Tampa Bay. It's a lot on these players. It is a lot. From the chat, Kevin Stern said they need to stop it with that soft defense BS. Yep, 100%. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Here's a good question. What are the top priorities for next year in the draft, in your opinion? I say go trenches and safety. Those are my 2 on both sides of the ball because, if you look at the Vikings trenches right now, the D-line's terrible, but we're also getting Daniil Hunter and Michael Pierce and guys like DJ Wonnum developing and all that. So if you could add another first rounder to that, that would be good. Also, if you go offensive side of the ball, let's just say you take a left guard, then you really got 5 linemen who you're, I don't know. I say that, but you have 5 linemen who you're feeling pretty good about. And then also safety. Ant's probably not going to be there next year, and Harrison Smith's getting old. That's what I would say. I'll go trenches and safety position. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I think we talked about this in our show. Yeah, I would say safety's a big priority. Either trying to sign a guy in the offseason or drafting. I think they definitely have to draft a young guy for sure. I mean, they got to get a young safety. He said Harris is probably gone. Harry's getting old. D line, I think they could use another D tackle. As you can see, they need depth. Michael Pierce is coming back. The other guys, Jaleel Johnson and Shamar Stephen aren't cutting it over there. And you got to either go, like I said, maybe like a tackle or a guard, kind of depending where you want to do with Ezra Cleveland moving forward. Because Reef's getting old. I don't know. I think he might be a free agent next year. He might get cut.
They can cut him.
Yeah, they might cut him. So he's old. He's got a huge cap hit, especially with probably the cap going to be going down next year. I think he might get cut or restructure, something like that. But yeah, definitely O-line still, D-line, safety.
Again.
3.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Pat. I think what I think's going to happen is I think they're probably going to draft a defensive lineman. Now they don't have a second round pick, but they have like 2 3s, 3 4s, 5s, and obviously probably like a bunch of 7th rounders again.
Yeah, probably got 12 7th rounders.
But so they have a ton of picks. This is also going to depend on where they're picking. So they're 6. So we got to wait to see how this plays out. I'm pretty sure they were like 14th going into today. So obviously, the Bears are going to go ahead of them now.
Jesus.
I don't know who else. They're probably would. We think they're going to probably end up between 15 and 22, somewhere.
Yeah, probably around there.
15 and 20. Like, let's say they go 8-8. Like, they just split their last 4 games. Like, they're going to be probably around there. Like, if it were up to me, it depends on who's available. There's a receiver from Alabama that if he's available in the first round, Smith. I take him. Yeah. And I know that's a deep position, but he's really good. I still go best player. And also one thing that I think that we could talk about going into the draft is if they are in the middle, there's a couple quarterbacks that Trask from Florida and Jones from Alabama. If teams get really excited about those guys, you can get yourself a pretty nice haul if you have those middle picks where a team wants to trade up and get a quarterback. So
that is very true.
It really depends where the Vikings picking, but that's the one thing I'm going to keep an eye on. They can get, they could probably get quite a haul if a team wants to trade up and get a quarterback because, last year the quarterback class was pretty good, with Burrow and Herbert. This year, you got Lawrence, Fields, and Zach Wilson probably going in the top 5. So
they'll all go top 5.
Those mid guys, teams are going to look to trade up to possibly get those mid guys. You could get yourself a nice package back and go from there. Or maybe you have a good shot at taking a quarterback.
Yeah, well, I actually like that a lot because if you look at Spielman, he's kind of hit on a lot of second rounders. So if you could even get 2 seconds for a first, I would gladly take that because I feel like Spielman's more comfortable later on in the rounds too. Anyways, but some positivity from the chat. Michael Miller says we won, need some luck to win the Super Bowl. The Giants won the Super Bowl with the 9-7 record and beat the GOAT in the Super Bowl. Anything's possible, man. It's positive, but I don't think a Super Bowl team is going to let the Jags take them to overtime. So, I don't know. Listen, the Vikings this year, as a whole, they've had a lot of bad breaks. Whether it's injuries or just them being stupid. They've dug themselves a massive hole. We got to see, though. If you go beat Tampa Bay next week, you're going to be 6-1 in your last 7, and you have 2 wins versus Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers on the road during that stretch. Really, if you go beat Tampa Bay, there's not really anybody I'm scared of in the NFC, frankly. And I'm not, and that's not even the boost the Vikings and me to be like a total homer. It's real. I'm not scared of going to Seattle. I've said this before. I'm not scared of going to Seattle. I'm not scared of going to Green Bay. I'm not scared if they even have to go to Tampa Bay's the one team because I feel like we match up very poorly against them. But I'm not that scared if the Vikings have. But the thing is, can you rattle off 3 in a row? That's the problem.
Agreed. I don't know. it's gonna be interesting. I mean, obviously they probably have to win out to make the playoffs. Just looking at it now, or hope that the NFC West teams beat up on each other, which is possible.
Rams are up 14-7 at half.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about. I'm not really sold on the Cardinals.
I'm not either.
And Cliff Kingsbury, I think he's made a lot of questionable decisions in some games, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, the Vikings have had the Saints number the past couple. I mean, it's a tough matchup. I mean, the Saints team's been playing really well, and obviously the Bucks, good team. I mean, the Vikings D is, they're playing a lot of backups. I mean, you can just see a lot of guys, a lot of no names. So I don't know if the D's gonna be able to hold up. But I mean, the offense got to carry them. I mean, that's where the veterans are. That's where all the weapons are. They've had no injuries whatsoever. There's no excuses. They got to play a lot better. They got to start off faster. I mean, like you said, Pat, they got to be more aggressive. Set up the run with that pass. Take some shots early. Maybe go tempo, something. Just to get off to a fast start. But yeah, the offense got to carry them the rest of the way. I think every week you got to try to get to 30. I think that's got to be the goal. The biggest chance to win is to try to get 30. That's what it's kind of been like all year.
Somehow get to 30.
It's got to get to 30 every week, and you have a shot. But we'll see. I mean, it'll be exciting. It's something to at least watch the past 4 games. But I mean, next week's gonna be I think a must win. On the road.
Yeah, I think they can make it at 9-7. If they're gonna lose a game, it probably has to be the New Orleans one, because New Orleans is probably gonna have everything wrapped up. Division wise, not their bye, obviously, with the only one bye this year. They're gonna definitely be bringing it. Yeah, next week is obviously just like what you said. NFC it's wide open. I mean, anybody could win it. There's no fan. If there's fans in the stands, it really don't have an effect on the game. Like, you're not scared of playing on the road. So the Vikings. If they're going to make the playoffs, I think next week is the one they really have to get. That's why that Dallas one hurt so much, because if they didn't, they probably could go 2-2 and get in. If the Vikings and Cardinals played 10 times, they probably split. They're pretty similar teams. Yeah. Both teams' defenses kind of stink.
Sloppy.
I agree with Mike. Sloppy. Kingsbury, Murray's got a shoulder thing. And Kingsbury, I think I like him, but he has made some questionable decisions this year. And you got to remember, the Cardinals won on a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And they also won they got really lucky against Seattle on a Sunday night game.
They did. You know what? That's true. I don't think the Cardinals are that good.
They're really not. And, but the thing is, though, either of the Vikings. Yeah.
That's the weirdest thing.
That's why you get so frustrated, today, when you watch the Vikings play, to come out like that, knowing that, it's really sad. I mean, just to come out and play like that today, it just gets you upset. But then you take a step back and you think, they're not that good. And second of all, they've done this before, but
even when they were good, they do this. Even when they have loaded rosters like we've had. You know what? The thing that's really weird for me with the Vikings this season is the past 3 weeks, they have played pretty bad football.
Yeah.
As a whole, in the chat, Jonathan Fisher, this really wraps it up. This team is completely inconsistent on offense, defense, and special teams, undependable across the board. They're going to wait till get knocked out of the playoffs on Christmas Day in true Vikings fashion. You know what? I feel like that would wrap up the season pretty nicely if we get eliminated from the playoffs by the Saints on Christmas. I mean, think about a more bitter ending that would be. But I mean, that's true. I mean, even though offense has been better of late, I mean, especially since the bye, I mean, it's not like we trust them completely. And the defense and the special teams I don't even know if you give them inconsistent, you give them bad. Maybe the defense inconsistent, but special teams, first off, that coach needs to be fired. Zimmer, I'm not kidding. Zimmer might walk in and be like, "Hey, you're done. I'm the special teams coach now."
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of surprised he's still around, to be honest. I mean, you've seen a couple times where he was yelling at them on the sideline. Zimmer lost his mind, I think, against, was it maybe the Lions or
he was Chicago?
Was maybe the Bears? Yeah, Bears. I mean, it's been brutal all year. I mean, penalties, blocked punts, missed kicks. I mean, it's so weird to me. Like, I feel like every time the Vikings punt, it's like the guys are never
Biggest
close.
play of the game.
Yeah. I mean, it's just weird. I mean, Colquitt's not very good either. I mean, he never kicks any, long punts.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be a combination of he's not getting enough airtime and their guys are not getting down there, but I don't know. Yeah, they gotta make a change there too. I just said I can't have that. They lose you games, but bad special teams. I mean, lose you games.
Yeah.
They've proven.
Jim, you've been on KJ Osborne a little bit this year, and my dad noticed it today. He was like, he looks slow and
very tentative.
He looks so scared to make
like he's like no confidence.
It's incredible.
You know that's but like I make a joke about with Zimmer. Like, you just, like, when it comes to practice, like, you got to take that guy and, like, put security around the offense and the special team. Like, Zimmer, you don't want Zimmer talking to anybody, like, on that, those stations, because Zimmer's saying, like, cry to Cousins if they even talk. They don't even talk to each other on the sideline.
No,
but,
you never see Zimmer and Cuz talking to each other.
Zimmer probably tells him, he's like, hey, just don't turn the ball over. We'll be okay. Or when he goes up to Bailey, talking about missing kicks or something like that. Like, no, KJ Osborne looks, I mean, he's a 5th-round pick, and I know 5th-round picks fail, but
he was a specialist in college. So
like at like a good school. Like, it wasn't like he was like they're at a pretty decent program.
I mean, it's Miami.
I mean, I know they're not great, but I mean, come on. Like,
I want Amir Abdullah back there. I want Abdullah returning punts. Abdullah kind of has some Cheryls in him, I feel like just not going to mess it up. Jesus Christ. I don't even want to get into BB right now. But, God, I don't know. All right, Kevin Stern says, give us one game. Just blow out Tampa Bay. Just one time.
Would that be something?
That would just come out something.
Up like 21-0 into the first quarter. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Don't see it happening, but
yeah, I don't see that happening either. It's Dash Rock said, if they beat New Orleans, I'm gonna be sipping the purple Kool-Aid. Oh yeah, definitely. You know what? That is. I feel. God, I don't know that. I'm so excited for that New Orleans game on Christmas. That's gonna be. Well, I say that now until they lose Christmas.
Vikings have ruined holidays in the past, Pat.
They have. I think it was what was the year when they lost on they lost on Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas Day, and New Year's. I think it was it might have been Cousins' first year. It might have been Cousins' first, or no. This was a while ago.
It was Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, it was when they lost on Thanksgiving to the
Lions. Yeah.
Oh, that was 2016, I think.
Yeah,
that
2016. They lost on every single holiday, I remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was a rough one.
It was like, I think Halloween. It was the Monday night fiasco in Chicago.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember those. They lost on like every holiday. Typical.
Yeah. Noah Hendrickson says, we are going to get destroyed by the Bucs if we don't fix our blatant issues. He says special teams is a huge problem. I mean, I agree with that. I mean, listen, the weirdest thing, the last 3 weeks, it's like we're beating ourselves over and over and over again. It's just like, you clean this up. I want to see what this team has this year. That, you know what, that is true though. The best thing about football is like, you don't want to peak until the end of the year. And the Vikings are nowhere close to, I hope, peaking right now. So maybe they peak next week against Tampa Bay or against New Orleans, but because this is, I mean, this looks like a week one. Like, I mean, this is how they should have looked week 2 or week 3, like sloppy football, bad special teams, no preseason.
They did. They looked like that.
Yeah. Well, they've looked like this the whole year.
Still do.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, I got nothing to say about how sloppy they've been the past few weeks. I mean, it's not even the I don't even blame that on the coaching. I feel like it's just like, well, then again, you can blame it
on the coaching.
Yeah, I mean, you got to put a little, like, get your guys like awake, like.
Yeah.
Like
penalties.
Really, it's been, if you think about it, it's really it's been Cousins and Cook. Like the screenplay today. Like, how is Cook not looking back? And then, Cousins like just floats one out there with, I mean, he's got to see Cook not looking at him. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know.
Cousins just threw the ball right to him.
Yeah. Like, and you just sit there and then God. Like literally, like all their turnovers besides BB's punt return, fiasco last week has been Cousins and Cook. Cousins fumbled against Dallas. Cook fumbled against Dallas. Cousins and Cook fumbled last week against Carolina. This week, Cousins threw a pick, and then it was both like, I don't know what happened at the goal line. They're going in to probably finish the game and go up 10.
Yep.
And they fumble again. Like,
well, Mike, you mentioned it before we got live. Mike said, like, we saw it on TV. They were kind of, there was some miscommunication on a handoff.
It seemed like it was a disagreement there between who was at fault there. From what it looked like. It sounded like Cook thought it was his fault, Cousins' fault. Cousins thought it was Cook's fault.
I got a stat at halftime, not to break up the conversation here, but Kyler Murray at halftime is 3 for 12, 73 yards. 3 for 12.
And he was not good last week either. Last week he had like 130 yards.
The Seahawks are winning 5-0.
5-0
against the Giants. And so but I want to probably that we're talking about Kyler Murray, like he does have a shoulder thing and it looks like it's pretty affecting him right now.
Yeah.
In the chat, hot take from It's Dash Rock says Cousins is the best QB we've had since Favre. I don't even think that's a hot take. I think that's the truth.
Yeah, it's
probably like.
Probably. There's not many guys who are.
Cousins has 3 games in a row with 3 touchdowns. I agree with that. Cousins have definitely been doing good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Do you guys have any final thoughts about this game or looking towards Tampa Bay?
I feel
like it's just a big question mark. Like, I feel like there's really no answers right now with this damn football team.
Yeah. I just think what team's going to show up there?
That is true.
To start the game. Is they going to come out ready to play or no energy? They got the turnovers become a problem. The Cook fumbling thing's becoming a problem there. He's fumbled a lot. They got to figure that out. That can't happen anymore. So we'll see where we go from here. They got to somehow they got to come out, fight, and ready to go. So.
Yeah, my biggest thing is they got to find a way to make, obviously Brady right now, I don't think he's ever lost to the Vikings. But next week, Brady is obviously sorry, I got the background here. Not a Mike Zimmer fan, apparently. But Brady, what I'm guessing Tampa Bay is probably going to try to do is get back to what Brady does well. And Brady gets the ball out of his hands and, he's going to get it to Evans and Godwin and Gronk and Brown and let them do their things. The Vikings have to find a way because when Brady stinks, it's when teams are hitting him. And the Rams beat him to hell. The Chiefs got after him a little bit. And the Chiefs defense is not very good. And the Rams defense is good, but the Vikings have to find a way to hit Brady. Some way, somehow, you got to find a way to hit him. If you hit him, you got a shot. Maybe he'll throw the ball up to you a couple times. Because the last couple of years, the one thing the Vikings can do is they might not have to be so concerned with Brady going down the field this game because he's not there right now. It's just not there for him. So hopefully that'll allow him to get to Brady. That's really the biggest chance they got. And don't run against a brick wall next week.
Yep.
Just don't do it. Throw the ball to Thielen and Jefferson. Get it going early. Get the tempo going early.
Yep.
Nothing to lose.
You know what? That's also listen. I know we won 5 out of our last 6, and I know, but you look at it. We're 6-point dogs right now. I bet you 80% of the bets will come in on Tampa Bay off a bye, -6 against the Vikings. I guarantee you know what? You're going to have – nobody's going to think you can win. It's going to be the same thing. Nobody thinks you can win. You have a chance. There's definitely going to be a game. You guys have the talent offensively to go steal one. And maybe next week is just going to need the offense is just going to need to go crazy. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the way to win.
All the pressure's on Tampa. Really, all the pressure's on Tampa. They're the ones that are supposed to be in the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, contenders, supposed to win the Super Bowl with Brady.
They lose
go out there. Just go out there and just be aggressive. I would hope. I just under Zimmer, it doesn't seem like he wants to be, but come out early, come out firing. Put it on. You've seen it. Tyreek Hill went crazy against the Buccaneers secondary. Mahomes threw for over 500, almost 500 yards. I mean,
Yep.
there's weaknesses in that secondary. Their front sevens, their strength. Get out early. Take some shots, and you never know. We'll see.
Keep Bailey out of the Tampa Bay bars.
Go for every fourth down.
Bailey needs it.
Keep Bailey out of the bars. Might be out. Watch him.
Yeah, Bailey. God damn it, we're going to Florida too. Bailey's dreaming of him. Him and Colquitt. That's who it was probably out last night. It was him and Colquitt getting hammered.
Sure, they love going.
Jesus Christ! All right, guys. Well, thanks everybody who stopped by the post-game show. Another week, another heart attack. Somehow we're 6-6. We're still alive. We got meaningful football in December next week. I mean, really all I could ask for from a 1-5 start. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you're new, sub to the channel. We're at 740, so we're almost at 1,000.